Yeah, believe it or not, they're both mine.
Good morning, good morning. I see, oh, okay. I'm like, man, the microphone's getting an awful lot of attention. And
Good
that's
morning.
probably because the air conditioner is on fan mode now and running.
It was hot in here when I woke up.
The sun was shining, and we sleep like right underneath a window, and it was warm in the bedroom when we woke up.
It was hot.
It was warm.
It was hot.
It's not negative 30 degrees. It's not winter time anymore. It's like a cool summer day. For April, that's nice, but it's like a cool summer day. There's no humidity at all. So Pockets wakes us up this morning, and she puts on all the air conditioners.
I didn't want you to be uncomfortable when you came out.
But it's so cold in here now. Like,
you're welcome. I was thinking of you. I was being a loving wife. I'm sorry about Beverly Hills Cop 3 in the background. I thought I turned it down enough. Sorry, it's the park ride, alien attack.
Shiloh is not here today. She is not joining us for Blood and Beans. She spent the night at a friend's house.
She had a party.
Have to pick her up in about 2.5 hours. It's good morning, Lilith. Good morning, Manny. And good morning, lover of wolves. Now that I have a voice. Good morning, amazing what the fuck. It's warm. It's not hot. It cooled down in here real quick. Like, she put on both air conditioners.
It was hot. When I think it's hot, it must be warm because I like it at fucking 80 degrees.
It is. It's 80 degrees.
Okay. I like the heat. He can't take the heat. It makes him sick. So when I got up, I was like, wow, it's warm in here.
I love Robot Chicken. I haven't sat down and watched Robot Chicken in a while.
Oh my god, just scroll through Pluto at night. You can find it on
Robot Chicken's awesome.
Yeah. I think it's on Pluto.
Yeah. It's like 80 degrees here now. 70, 80.
Oh god.
We woke up though at like 10 o'clock, so the house had
10:20.
time to warm up.
Wow.
Take my advice, Pockets is always right.
Thank you. Usually I am. He lost his phone, and I hadn't been with him the whole day. And he came home, he's like, oh shit, where's my phone? Where's my phone? He's running around the house. I said, go check the car center console. He went out, looked in the car, it was in the center console.
I wasn't looking all day. I was looking for like 5 minutes.
No, you still came in, you're like, how did you do that? He's like, I know you.
5 minutes. Yeah, well, when we first met, you lost your ID.
Oh, constantly.
Every other day.
I was constantly losing it. And my birth certificate.
And I was the one.
You know how many times my father has had to pay for my birth certificate?
I'm the one that always found it.
Yep.
So this is just me making up for I'm making up for lost time.
I made you hold on to it. I'm like, here, you just hold on to my ID. I won't lose it that way. Oh, shit.
Even if you're right, the ladies... I know. Oh, I know. Trust me. I'm well aware. Strep throat's no fun.
No,
I'm very sorry to hear that, dog lover. I hope he feels better soon.
I'll be right back.
It is not a good thing to have. Also, another thing that is not good to have. Didn't even know if Sabian is cleaving thought from bones. I am cleaving thought from bone. I am sociopathic pasta. I am Sabian Lockhart, and I am L.W. Sutton. I am all of these things. And another good thing not to have, don't have, not have, and this came up during Wednesday. I was hanging out with Shawnee and Somber, and they both were talking. They were picking on me about cannolis, and cannolis, man. Let me tell you, They're awesome. To me, like, there's my wife and my children, and then right underneath that is cannolis. Cannolis are amazing. And they're, like, picking on me about, I'm like, apologize to the cannoli. And Shawnee's like, I'm not apologizing for a crispy, crunchy, sugary... And I was like, whoa. Hold on a second here. So I asked him. I said, and Somber was remaining relatively quiet. And I said, what do you mean crispy, crunchy? He goes, yeah, cannolis are those crunchy, really sugary, frosting filled. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I asked Somber, and Somber said, yeah. He goes, they're not that bad, but yeah, I've always had, like, crispy, crunchy cannolis. I want to address something right here because I've talked to quite a few people since then, and it's not everybody, but there's like a large amount of people. It seems to be like maybe 7 out of 10. I want to make this very, very clear. Cannolis are not supposed to be crunchy. If you are eating a crunchy cannoli, and Somber says he's never had one with chocolate chips. Wait a minute. Cannolis are supposed to have chocolate chips in them. And the frosting inside is closer to like a cheesecake cream cheese type filling. It is a little sugary. It's on the sweet side. But like it's not like Krispy Kreme grainy sugary. It's not supposed to be. So if you're getting crispy, crunchy cannolis with sugary, grainy frosting and no chocolate chips inside, you're getting not a cannoli. It's false. It's lies. I know that sometimes they don't, but that's like a variation of a cannoli. It's not an actual cannoli. And cannolis are not supposed to be fucking crispy.
Get yourself to nice
chewy.
Italian bakery.
They're chewy. Cannolis are supposed to be chewy.
Yes, like a crepe. It's a crepe that is stuffed with this cream cheese, yummy, smooth frosting. Not frosting, filling.
I mean, 80s and 90s kids are still like... I was an 80s kid. I was born in 1981. And I'm only 42. So, I would say there's quite a few of us still alive. I would hope. I mean, I'm not that old yet. At least I don't want to be.
Oh, you should see the stuff that's come out for babies.
I'm still in the dark as to what a cannoli actually is. It's like a...
it's a pastry.
That's wrapped in a tortilla shell, but the tortilla is like... It's soft and cinnamon flavored.
Yeah, that's a crepe.
It tastes like a cinnamon cheesecake if you do it right. It's really, really fucking good. And the filling is... I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like I said, it's... closer to like a cheesecake or a cream cheese filling, but with like, it's got frosting mixed in, and then like chocolate chips all on top of it, and it's really good.
Don't make me get out the cookbook.
But they're not supposed to be crunchy.
Yeah, no.
So if you've never had a cannoli, or you've never had an actual cannoli, a real cannoli, then please don't judge cannolis on their false counterparts.
Ha!
It's not fair to the cannoli. That's like everybody, like you really wanting to play Super Nintendo and me handing you one of those store-bought things with like
14 games.
Well, like with 14 like app games on it that like are just like those stupid made up games, and it's in a Super Nintendo shell, and you're like, oh, I don't like Super Nintendo because this is stupid. It's not a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
If you don't like cannoli because that's all you've had, it's not a cannoli, and therefore you wouldn't know if you actually liked a real cannoli or not. Yes, I very much do. They're amazing. They are my favorite pastry. Mm-hmm. They're phenomenal. Like I said, there's my wife and my children right up top, and then right underneath that, like there's like a thin, there's a thin membrane, and yes, tailored ham would be amongst that.
See,
I agree.
I told you.
Tailored ham is also amazing too, and it doesn't taste like ham, and it
eat.
doesn't taste like Taylor. I mean, maybe it tastes like Taylor, but it doesn't taste like ham.
Are you the
It's
barber from
closer
Fleet
to a
Street?
bacon, but not. It's definitely not bacon.
It's not poet.
It's got like a tangy taste to it. They only make
It's
it in
salty.
Jersey. It's very salty. They only make
I don't like it.
They only make it in Jersey. Pockets doesn't like it, and I don't understand how. She's literally the only person that I've met that doesn't like Taylor
It's
ham.
too salty. I don't like it too salty.
Like, you're not having it correctly. Then have it on some bread with some eggs and stuff like that. It's
Nope.
really good.
Sausage.
Anybody that I've ever met besides her absolutely has fallen in love, including my children. And you can only get it in New Jersey.
Now in New Jersey, because they don't ship it to Price Chopper anymore.
It's really, really good stuff. Just like chicken speedies. I've never met somebody that's tried a chicken speedy and didn't instantly fall in love.
Oh my god, I love them.
And you try and explain to someone what a chicken speedy is,
You
and
can't.
yeah, it's like trying to explain to someone what VR is like. It's just something you have to experience for yourself to get it. But once you try the chicken speedy, be careful, be warned, because you're gonna go back home craving chicken speedies. They're really, really good. So yes, I would say there's my wife and my children, and then like a thin membrane under that is like Taylor ham, chicken speedies, and cannolis. Like, you know,
And chicken speedy pizza.
chicken speedy pizza falls in line with chicken speedies. Good morning, Devane. How are you? Sorry, I've been rambling about food.
Oh, excuse me, Sally. What's the matter, buddy? Oh,
I'd
are you
watch 'em.
outside? Oh no. What are you doing?
I'd watch them.
What are you doing?
Really fucking good. That's what you need to know about the taste of chicken speedies. I see. Lilith knows. Lilith has been to Locust Lake with me and Pockets, and Somber has been with us as well. And obviously, I forced everybody to try the chicken speedies. They were really good. They were really, really good.
Oh my god, what? Why are you all yelling at me?
No, you won't get shunned. I'll just be surprised. I'll be as surprised as Pockets not liking tailored ham. I didn't create the chicken speedy. I'm not God, and I feel that everybody should have opinions. That's not going to change because you just don't like chicken speedies. I'll just be surprised. You'll be the first person I've ever encountered that doesn't like chicken speedies. And if that's the case, like, they should ship you somewhere and study you. Like, you know, take like hair samples and skin samples and like running tests and what a conundrum. How can this individual not like chicken speedies? Is Locust Lake a fun place? Locust Lake is what you make of it. Locust Lake is my parents' land. It's where I grew up. It's even he'll say it's my parents' land. My parents still live there. My brother now owns it. So there's a bunch of cabins that my father has put in around
One looks
the
like a stagecoach.
large pond-sized lake.
And one looks like a stagecoach. It's right next to the lake.
Everybody has their own campsite. My campsite is like across the dirt path that goes up the mountain in the
We're the
woods. So
furthest
my
back.
campsite's the biggest, and it's close by everyone's, but not quite by everyone's. And yeah, but it's a real place. It is a fun place. Obviously, you know, when I bring people there, have to be respectful of the lake and the land and clean up after ourselves and stuff like that because it is
We gotta get the beer
it's
bottles out
in
from
use
underneath
by
the table
my
this
family.
year.
I know, yeah, we do. It's actually
There's a
wow.
lot in there. Like, they should just, I don't know why nobody, like, I told all the kids up there, just go ahead and take them. Because there's like $200 worth of bottles right there. Maybe more.
I don't think they want to clean them up. We'll clean them up. It's fine.
You can clean them up. I'm not going under there. There's spiders.
There's spiders.
I don't. No. Okay. Every time we have the family reunion, I have to hear Joanne. Aubrey!
Chicken.
Come check the freaking porta potties.
Chicken Speedies are, you've never heard of them, Fuzzy? Because they're...
It's a marinade, basically.
Chicken Speedies, you've never heard of them because they only exist in the southern tier area of New York. So they only exist around like Binghamton and Oneonta and Johnson City and Elmira and shit like that. It's only right down there in that southern tier portion of New York. That's where they originate from, and that is where they stay. There is, it's not Java, it's Oreo. You can get the marinade in stores. It's called Salamita's State Fair Speedy Sauce. It says to soak your chicken for 24 hours. That's a lie. It has to soak for at least 48. If not, go for 72 if possible. Really let the stuff soak in, or it's not going to be the same.
Yep. And make sure you cut the chicken actually into chunks. Don't leave it in like a whole breast form because they're really supposed to be cut. Yeah, you got to cut them into chunks,
and then after you marinate them for days, you grill it. And then
you can put it on a skewer and grill it like that, or you just throw them on the grill.
And then they go on like toasted hot dog buns.
Oh,
and that's really it. You don't have, there are people that will put stuff on them, but
I recommend potato bread.
I don't, and there's most of the time they don't. It's just a chicken speedy sandwich. It goes on like a hot dog bun or a sub roll, and you throw the chunks of chicken into that, and boom, that's it. The marinade takes care of everything else.
He does something different sometimes. If we're cooking over the campfire, he'll apple smoke them too, and that is actually very, 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 very good. We did bison like that.
You could probably order it though, right, Fuzzy? Couldn't you order it online? Salamita State Fair Speedy Sauce? I think so. He says he's never been to the United States, but I'm pretty sure you could ship that shit across seas.
Trust me, you're not missing much over here.
He's missing chicken speedies.
Well, yes, he's missing chicken speedies, but
I think it'd be easier to pay for a plane ticket for the speedy sauce to come to you instead of paying for a plane ticket for you to go to the speedies.
That's so funny. I'm sorry, I just see chicken speedy sauce now, like sitting in an aisle seat.
It'll be in the cargo area, but I will say the Salamita State Fair Speedy Sauce deserves to be buckled into a fucking coach seat. It does.
Oh my god.
It deserves to ride first fucking class. Little fucking glass of Chardonnay sitting right next to the boxes of State Fair Speedy Sauce.
That would be first class.
That's what I said. It should go first class.
I should have shared it. There was this thing on TikTok where the funny flight attendant, and they're, when they're giving out their speeches, and you have to get out your little yellow polka dot bikini, meaning, the little raft thing around your neck. And he's like, if you know what this light does, let me know, because I have no idea. But now I'm thinking of the speedy sauce in this little life preserver jacket now.
No, I said flying. He's not going to swim to wherever Fuzzy is.
At least
hey, Somber. We are talking about speedies. I already mentioned that crunch nollies just should not exist, and they are not.
Yes.
I already went over the crunch nollie debate, and we are now on chicken speedies, and talking about the chicken speedies. Fuzzy is going to import them. He's going to import the Salamita State Fair Speedy Sauce and let his chunks of chicken marinate for at least 2 days, if not 3. Between 2 and 3 days.
And if you're going to skewer them and cook them, remember to soak your wooden skewers in water for 24 hours, or your skewers will burn.
They're good. Now I want speedies.
I know. Don't worry. It's coming. I've been marking off the days. So I have camping written down.
Oh, yeah. That's right. There's a party next weekend.
Yep.
Next weekend on the Discord, there is the Back to Camp Discord party.
Yay.
Because the weekend after next weekend, I'm going back to camp. First time since last September. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But the Discord party's also going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to dig out. And Shawnee says he's going to try and come over to help me dig out the pit.
Oh, thank God. I can't bend over like that anymore.
Okay.
I can squat, though. Actually, our fire pit it's like 8 feet across and it's like 4 feet deep, right? So you can basically like get in the fire pit and work with shit. He also made an oven off of it, which is really neat. It takes like 3 seconds to boil water if you have like really hot coals.
But anyways, so yeah, so next weekend after the premiere, which I have to actually, and it's already uploaded. I just gotta put the premiere page up. I can actually do that really quick when the stream is over.
We need to also find a way to get bungee cords.
I am going to, we're going to have the premiere, ARPA, The Digital God by Doughboy420 on Saturday. And then after that, in my Discord, we're going to be streaming camping-related horror movies. So up first is going to be The Burning. I love The Burning. It's one of my favorite 80s slasher movies. It's very Friday the 13th-like. It takes place at a summer camp, and it's about a killer that, you know, was victimized and came back to
has hair.
His name is Jason Jason Alexander.
Okay, whatever. I just remember him from Seinfeld because you made me watch Seinfeld.
That's what Pockets take away of The Burning is George Costanza is in it.
Yeah,
then
and
the
he's
next
got hair like, wow, he looks mad young.
And that's it. That's all she remembers from the movie.
No, that's not all I hope that hurt too.
The next movie after that, we're going to watch Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers, which is another one of my absolute favorite 80s horror movies.
I like the killer.
It is my favorite Sleepaway Camp movie, awesome. And it's something that we usually watch at camp, but I want to get like amped up for camp, so yeah, we're going to watch that second, and then we're going to watch Friday the 13th Part 7.
You have to buy like cord to like
as the third one, which is like one of my favorite Friday the 13th
Yep,
movies.
I was just gonna say that's like your favorite Friday the 13th movie.
It's not.
Even though you say
it's not. I don't have a favorite.
You don't have a favorite, but you always put that one on. But you don't have a favorite.
It's the first one I ever watched. It's my first Friday the 13th movie. Doesn't mean it's my favorite, but yeah.
It's your go-to movie.
There's nostalgia there because it's probably one of the best camping horror movies that's ever been made. It's a masterpiece. You've never seen The Burning? The Burning's a good movie. You'll like it. Tom Savini did the special effects for that too. So like all the gore from like the first Friday the 13th movie and all the gore from the fourth Friday the 13th movie and the fucked up creepy puppet thing from Tales from the Dark Side, all the gore from Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, that's all Tom Savini. Tom Savini was a really very well-known special effects artist back in the 80s. Did a work on a lot of very, very high-end, well-known horror movies, and he did the special effects in this too. So, you know that it's going to be gory. It's going to have good effects to it.
What do you? Falling over. Gravity works. See, 2 days you're home and I have to sweep this whole thing back here. Because I don't get to sweep it because you're busy working. Got some to work on his videos. Oh.
I'm just letting Pockets talk.
What?
Nothing.
I just ramble.
Giving me a break. You're giving my voice a break and letting you ramble.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for camping too.
It's pretty funny that you bring that up. Doughboy he finished writing part 2. I believe I already have it. It's already color coded and ready to go. Don't turn it up. So she turns it up.
I put it up to 21. You can't even fucking hear it off the freaking mic.
Doughboy is completed. Beyond Locust Lake, Part 2. So, yes. I expect that will be releasing in July. There's other Locust Lake stories as well that he has written. There's another Locust Lake story that takes place after the Halloween special this year, and there's 2 more obituary stories about the obituary killer that wears the Locust Lake obituaries for a mask. I don't believe those take place at Locust Lake, but they're sequels of that killer. So I'm saving those for this summer because I try not to run more than 2 series at once. It gets hard for people to flop back and forth. Like, I'll do Capes and then Locust Lake, and then I'll do Dreamscape and Confronting Evil, but I'll try not to do one. I don't mind doing one. One would be better than 2, and I think that's all I'm actually doing right now. It's just Confronting Evil is the only series I have running. But I'm also, last summer, after Confronting Evil was over in June, you have 3 months off from Confronting Evil. So Confronting Evil ends in June, and then you have no Confronting Evil in July, August, or September. And then Confronting Evil returns the very first week in October. So you basically have a 3-month period with no Confronting Evil. And last summer, I filled the summer with the Chronicles of Raybob, which was a fill-in story between the first Locust Lake series, the end of that series, and the beginning of the second Locust Lake series. So it filled that space in between. So I ran that prequel series throughout the summer, and then we also did Beyond Locust Lake in July, and I think that we did the Obituary Killer too, towards the end of the summer. So this year I would like to put up Obituary 2, Obituary 3, and Beyond Locust Lake Part 2, and the Locust Lake story that came out that takes place after last year's Halloween special. Confronting Evil, the next Confronting Evil, which is what now? Part 8? I think we're on Part 8 now. Yeah, right, that's the one I'm working on. That one is supposed to come out not this coming weekend, but the weekend after, the 29th. So it'll be coming out. I have to finish it up this week so I can get it put up for next week. And I've already narrated it. I've clipped my stuff together. I've started putting in Mary's and Somber's lines. And once I do that, the rest of it is going to fall right into place. Just adding in, a few more lines for everybody else and putting in some sound effects and then putting the video together and whatnot. So I've got most of the work done for that. That'll be up, not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after. And I did that because then now it came out at the end of the month, because Confronting Evil was coming out at the beginning of the month, but I have to cram 10 episodes into a 9-month period, basically, because of those 3 months off. So one of those months has to have 2 in it. So I have it come out at the beginning, and then midway-ish, maybe a little bit later. It's usually springtime. It's going to always be about March or April. Whatever month has 5 Saturdays in it. Because 3 months out of the year, 3 months? 4 months. 4 months out of the year have 5 weekends instead of 4 weekends. So I use that to have 2 episodes come out in the same month, so that way next month, Confronting Evil Part 9 I'm going to probably again make it come out the very last week of May, Part 9, because it's the penultimate episode, and obviously it ends on a cliffhanger. I'll let you know that now. It's going to take place as one long story with 10. So you'll be able to watch 9 and 10 back to back. And I don't want everybody to wait the entire month for those 2 stories to go up together, for 10 to drop after 9. So I'm going to have it come out in the end of May, so I can have Confronting Evil come out from between the middle to the 3rd week of June, which gives me enough time to either get the book released by the end of June or the beginning of July. And the book will contain 1 story that is not included in the season. So just like the first Confronting Evil book had a Fleshy the Snowman, Seth and Mackenzie story in it that takes place between, I think, episodes 3 and 4. The Confronting Evil Season 2 book will have another holiday-based story. I won't tell you what holiday, and it's going to take place, I believe, between episodes 7 and 8, right about now. So, yes, new Confronting Evil, though, will be coming out very soon.
Oh, that's a good reason. Where's the secret lollipop?
I've never heard of such a series called Runaway from the Goddess. Or Runaway from Goddess. Goodness, that's what it says. Sorry. I was sipping out of my coffee and
He's
looking
illiterate.
with one eye. Oh, yes, sorry. I'm actually illiterate. Everybody knows now. Running Away from Goodness. I don't know. I have never heard of that series. If that is a series, though, that is already up like on somebody else's channel somewhere, you probably won't hear it. I don't typically read stories that aren't written exclusively for this channel, because I've had problems in the past with that. Not just my channel being taken down, my old channel, which is why my old channel got taken down, is because I read stories that were not mine. They were somebody else's. And again, when somebody flags 3 videos, YouTube doesn't do anything. They terminate you. There's no questions. There's no nothing. They just terminate you. So I didn't even have a chance to respond. But even before that, I've had problems with people submitting stories where they were read on other people's channels, and it was supposed to be an exclusive for their channel, so that channel's telling me to take that story down because it's exclusive to their channel, and the one writer that worked on it with them wasn't supposed, and it just becomes a whole big fucking mess. And I've had to deal with it before, so I try not to, unless it's a story that I really, really I have to have up on my channel. Just for some intrinsic motivative purpose, I have to have this story narrated on my channel in my voice. And even then, I have to hear back from the author and get permission. That's why Pen Pal is up on my channel. Pen Pal's up on my channel because I reached out to Dathan Orbach and I told him what a big fan I was of Pen Pal, and how much I would really like to be able to put my narration of his creepypasta version, not the full book, but the creepypasta version with the 6 parts up on my channel. And he responded back saying that that was perfectly fine. Oh, Running Away from Goodness. Gotcha. I see. That's funny. I know Lilith wants a Huck series, and I tried to satisfy Lilith last year with the Chronicles of Raybob, because Huck has a series. It's called Confronting Evil. I don't see a point right now where in doing a Huck series is relevant, because we could do just like Doughboy did with episode 6 of season 2, where it literally just focused on Huck and Cash. It was a Huck episode. You can have Huck-centric episodes in Confronting Evil, because Confronting Evil is a Huck series. But I figured if we're going to do a series, I would try and satiate Lilith, and we'll just go OG Huck, which was Raybob. Everybody loved Raybob. Everybody loved Raybob. Everybody wanted me to, why did you kill off Raybob? You bring back Raybob right now. Everybody loved Raybob when we killed him off. So this was a way, if we can't do, Huck, let's give everyone what they really want, right? They want a Huck series because of Raybob. That's where Huck came from, he's an homage to Raybob. It's actually Raybob's younger brother. So I did a prequel before Raybob died called The Chronicles of Raybob, which is a 4-part miniseries. introduces some elements regarding the cult of locusts. That takes place in the second series, serves as a pretty decent bridge between series 1 and series 2. I was actually really happy with how that mini series came out. What's that? Yes, confronting evil does not equal. Yes, it does equal. Raybob does not equal Huck. I mean, in a way he does, because that's where Huck came from. That's why the voices are like they're real. I know a lot of people say they're the same voice. They're actually not. Raybob's voice is slightly deeper and slightly more gruff. Slightly. Huck's is slightly, less gruff and more elevated. I think his is reduced like by 0.91, the treble of mine, and Raybob's is like 0.89. So it's so close that you probably does sound the same, but they are not actually the same. Raybob is slightly different than Huck's. But that is basically where Huck came from, is everyone wanted Raybob back, and Raybob's dead. He's dead. Sorry, people, I hate to bring it to you, but he's dead. And he ain't coming back. I'm not gonna marvel this shit and just start bringing people back or Scream 6 in it where every death is a fake out death. I've never watched a movie before that had such a high body count that turned out to be such a low body count. By the way, I don't think I've talked about that yet either. Scream 6, just so you know, every character that dies on it miraculously survived at the end of the movie. Every one of them. Every one. So just be prepared for that going into that movie. That it is like those killers were I think they were like aiming for non-vital organs or something. Then, like I don't understand, because just about everybody, and I mean just about everybody, there's like 10 death scenes and like 7 people live. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm not going to do that. Raybob's dead. He's not coming back. But I figured the next best thing to that was like, all right, well, let's make a Raybob-like character and just call him Huck for confronting evil. In essence, he'll be Raybob. We'll just call him Huckleberry Bruce, and he'll be Raybob's younger brother that's all grown up. And he'll basically, essentially be Raybob. But no, apparently they don't equal. They're not the same. So a Huck series is not a Raybob series. It is not a Confronting Evil series. And I disagree, because Huck is in almost as many episodes of Confronting Evil as Seth and Mackenzie are. I didn't tell you who dies and who lives. And honestly, listen, if that's a spoiler, I feel bad. I feel bad for you. I didn't say Scream. I said Scream 6. It's the 6th one. And if I ruined it for you with that bit of knowledge, I am sorry, but that is something that I would have probably have appreciated knowing going in, because I found it extremely disappointing. And it's been out now for a while, so I didn't say that like the weekend it came out. I waited a couple of weeks. So I do apologize if that's a spoiler for you, but I don't know if you were looking forward to find out that like everybody who dies actually lives, then yeah, I guess that's a spoiler. I mean, okay, then save your money. Like, I feel that's information you should be armed with when you go in. It looks like there's kills, and it probably is one of the goriest Scream movies they've made. Like, they show all the stabbings and stuff like that. Like, they did a good job with it, which is like why it's surprising, like how it could be that gory and yet the actual kill count is so low. But again, maybe that doesn't make or break a movie. Look at Freddy. I've done a kill count on the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Freddy killed, in his movie career, I believe it was less than 30 people. Mm-hmm. I'd have to go back and actually like count them all again, but it wasn't many in his entire movie career.
Counted, okay?
Unless you're counting off-screen kills, like in Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, like all the kids in Springwood are dead, and okay, fine, if you want to count those, maybe he killed a ton, but let's say we're not counting ones that happened between movies off screen. Let's talk on screen kills, or at least ones that took place within a span of a movie. Now, if Springwood was normal at the beginning of the movie and like throughout the movie, like he killed everybody and you saw all the dead bodies laying around the town, maybe you didn't see every kill, but you were able to see the direct aftermath, the before, the after, and the aftermath. Then I would count those as kills. And I think we're all in agreement there, right? Like, it has to happen within the boundaries of the movie. It can't be like before the movie started or after the movie happened. Like, it has to, at least, even if it's off screen, it has to be within the borders of the movie. So Freddy in that case would have killed around like 30 people. We'll say 30. You know, I'll give him 35.
I think it was
Angela
like 30
Baker.
though.
Angela Baker.
With a stick.
Except with the exception of the little girl that said, I want to go home. I want to go, and then she actually sends her home. That little girl got sent home. She really did get sent home, and she's the only one that lived.
Yep.
Angela Baker killed everybody in the entire camp. Kids, adults, everybody. Everybody you see walking around in that movie.
I'm so happy he introduced me to those movies.
She killed everybody, and I counted. It's like 42 people.
Yep.
Like 42 people, and you see all these bodies like strung up all, like even if they didn't all happen on screen, and a lot of them do, but if you don't all happen on screen, you see all their bodies all strung up all over the place at the campground and shit at the end of the movie. It's like she like Jason does and shit. Like, this is a girl, a 5'2" girl horror movie killer, running around the woods with a fucking stick.
I love
who
it.
kills more people in one fucking movie than Freddy killed in his entire movie career.
And Freddy Krueger is like, Jason is his favorite. Freddy Krueger is mine, which I think that's why we work so perfectly together.
If you're looking
But
at...
he introduced me to Sleepaway Camp, and I have to say my close second serial killer is Angela Baker, but the Pamela Springsteen. I like her as an Angela Baker.
Oh, and good morning, leader. I did see you come in. I think I forgot to say hi. Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Good morning. I have to smoke this cigarette that I have to hang up clothes on the line. So you only have to talk to him. Sorry. My tea.
Yes, Huck is to confronting evil as Bobby is to supernatural.
Oh God, we're doing ratios.
And yes, very much so. And he is an important part of it. But it's... Again, but that'd be the same as like while Supernatural is running, having a Bobby series run alongside it. And no. Maybe like Doughboy said, maybe one of the summers here. And if I didn't have Locust Lake going up this summer, I was going to do a Shiloh series. And I still might. What is it, April? I could write a Shiloh series. I just have to find the time. I might have to have drinks at boys' night instead of before boys' night, so I have time to write when I come home. I could find the time to do it. I would like to do a Shiloh series this summer. Okay. Yes, that will be the movie that we'll be watching on the 22nd. Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. The one where she kills everybody at the entire camp. In very creative ways. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie, and it's not meant to be taken like completely seriously, but like that's the whole point. Is it doesn't take itself seriously. It's just a really fun movie to watch. Yeah, maybe eventually, maybe like when Confronting Evil is over, or maybe like during a summer sometime I could have a Huck series. That wouldn't be a bad idea, but to have a Huck series in between Confronting Evils in the summer, again, that connects. If you're having a Huck series that picks up right at the end of that season of Confronting Evil and runs throughout the summer until Confronting Evil starts up again, it's literally the same as having Confronting Evil without end. Like, you had it all the way along and you know exactly what's taking place in between with Seth and Mackenzie, because obviously you're going to mention them, at least in the Huck series. They're going to be mentioned where they are, what they're doing, how come they're not with Huck, and you're going to have the series take place all up until Confronting Evil starts, and it's just a full year of Confronting Evil, and I don't want that. I want time off between Confronting Evil ending and Confronting Evil beginning. And yeah, you could do a prequel series, and maybe that is something we could explore as a prequel Huck series, like maybe how Huck got into hunting, something along those lines. But I can't have it take place between the 2 seasons of Confronting Evil. That I can't have. That's why I'm a little bit more opposed to a Huck series than I am like a Shiloh series that's a prequel series. I want everyone to, I want to tell the story of how Shiloh met her husband.
This is heavy.
And I know exactly where it would pick up, where it starts, and exactly where it will end, basically. Shiloh series would pick up after Demon's Dozen. Because I don't know if you guys know how well you know the Locust Lake series, but it would pick up there. That was the last time Shiloh was at Locust Lake in the series. And then everybody died again, and then she did not return until the end. Not even the last 3 episodes, because she did show up in the middle of the 3rd to last episode. So she was in the last 3 episodes of the Locust Lake series. But that's when Seth and Mackenzie were, like, part of that group. The group of kids, and you didn't know that they were Shiloh's children until the beginning of the second to last story. Then you found out that those 2 people, Seth and Mackenzie, were actually Shiloh's kids. That's where we revealed it. So it would take place between Demon's Dozen, when she leaves Locust Lake, and probably go right up into where Seth and Mackenzie were born, which would be right around the time of the Cult of Locusts. Because if you remember in the series, the mansion and stuff was a party spot. It was like, not new, but like it was a mansion in the Cult of Locusts stories. But then at the end of the series, when it was just it was after the 2 where they raided the mansion, the Mr. Shaw stories, there was a gap, because when they go back to Locust Lake at the end for the final 3, the mansion's all overgrown and run down. It's been years. That's the time that Seth and Mackenzie had to grow up. Yes, and I could do a prequel Huck series where I could explain how Huck got into hunting. But again, and that's... Thank you. I think Somber kind of nailed it. Like, I probably was skating the edge of it with a Huck series, but we all knew it was more part of the Locust Lake stories than it was... Or a Ray Bob series. That was part of the Locust Lake series, not Confronting Evil, which is the spin-off to that. So going back to that was a little bit safer than doing a Confronting Evil spin-off during the break for Confronting Evil. Even this Shiloh story, yeah, it's a Confronting Evil spin-off, but it's more a hybrid between Locust Lake and Confronting Evil. It shows how the events, Shiloh's life events, lead into the events of Confronting Evil. But it's rooted at its base in Locust Lake. And it's the summer of Locust Lake. Maybe I'll do a 3-part miniseries. Maybe it doesn't have to be 4 parts. That'd be cool. I could do that. I could do like a Shiloh miniseries, like trilogy. That'd be cool. I like this idea. Because I just got done writing a story that's coming up soon. So this could be the next story that I'm writing. And I gotta get through. April's just about done now. I gotta get through May, and then June I can start releasing like Locust Lake stuff. Really could need another story in between now and then. Though I think Lilith sent me a story, a nice long one that I can read for a Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So you might all have a Lilith Gallows story coming up here soon, I think. It's best to space things out and only do extra stuff if it's interesting and has a purpose, etc. And I agree, leader. That's why I like taking a break from confronting evil and going back to Locust Lake for the summer. I don't know. For me, that feels right. It kind of tickles my fancy. Like, I'm all excited. Like, yeah, we have to end confronting evil, and it's going to be a series finale, and everybody's going to have to wait for season 2. But, like, I'm also really excited for the summer of Locust Lake. And we're having a whole nother summer of Locust Lake like we did before Confronting Evil came out. And that makes me pretty excited. Like, I can't wait to, like, get back into Locust Lake. Maybe I'll do that first before I write maybe I'll write one of the Shiloh stories first. I really want to write a Locust Lake story. Like, a Jacob Treagle story. I haven't written one of those in a really long time. The last one I wrote was just a gosh darn summer camp, which is an hour and a half long. I love that. But I'm thinking more along the lines of like Stony Heart of the Black Woods or something like that. Or You Shouldn't Be in the Black Woods. I'm going to miss chatting with you too, Wolf Lover. But, obviously I will be leaving the streams up so you can listen to them, whenever you're able, if you're able. Oh yeah, no, we are on Season 2. I mean before 3 comes out. So we are on Confronting Evil Season 2, but I'm talking about between Season 2 and then before the start of Part 3. Last year it was before the start of Part 2, where we did the Chronicles of Rabob. Before Confronting Evil was released, I pushed to get all the Locust Lake stories done. Doughboy and I were in the middle. He was in the middle of finishing the second Locust Lake series when my old channel got taken down. So by the time my new channel got put up and I started doing Locust Lakes, Doughboy had already finished the Locust Lake series. I had all those stories I had to do again, like 30 of them. And Doughboy also had written like the last 6 that take place after where I had left off. And I didn't want to re-upload all those stories. I didn't want to just put up my old uploads. It seemed really cheap and a quick and easy way out. So I wanted to redo them. I wanted to re-voice cast everybody. I wanted to redo the entire Locust Lake series. So I did. And I told him before we do anything else, because he was already talking about Confronting Evil. Talking about Shiloh's Children basically being like a Sam and Dean Winchester, going from story to story on my channel, saving people, hunting things, the family business. And I really liked the idea, but I told him, I said, we can't do that until we finish Locust Lake. And I said, I still have like 25 stories I have to upload. And I was like, it's going to be another year. So I went through a whole year of Locust Lake, and then I still had like 8 or 9 stories left, and I really wanted to start Confronting Evil in October. I really, really wanted to do that, and I wanted there to be some space. I wanted people to miss Locust Lake, and then because Locust Lake's done, right? We ended the curse. It's over. There's no more Locust Lake, and I wanted people to miss Locust Lake. Yeah, it's 35 episodes in. It's probably time to walk away, at least for a while. But I wanted time for people to miss it. So I think we ended Locust Lake at the very, very beginning of September. I had to put out like 9 Locust Lake stories in a summer. And those take so much time to edit. There's so many voice lines and so many sound effects. And I really wanted like the last 3 stories to be over the top. I think the last story had over 100 voice lines and 156 sound effects or something like that. It was like watching a fucking movie. I really wanted to go over the top with it, and then I left it alone for a month. I told everybody something cool is coming in October, but I left it alone for like an entire month, and everybody was getting sad. I'm going to miss Locust Lake. I read all the comments. I'm going to miss Locust Lake. I'm going to miss Locust Lake. Then Confronting Evil came out in October, and I don't know, the people that tuned in for it. And then we left Locust Lake alone. I didn't go back to it was done. For a whole year, no Locust intention that, no, of course I'm not going to be done with Locust Lake. Locust Lake is the flagship series for my channel. I love Locust Lake. So, of course, Locust Lake's gonna come back. But I wanted people to think it wasn't. I wanted that space in between. Yeah, you have Confronting Evil now. Locust Lake's done. But you have a Locust Lake spin-off series with Shiloh's children, and it's like Locust Lake hits the road and goes to all the other places on my channel and deals with all those other stories, and you get all kind of nostalgic callbacks to things like The Reason I Hate Easter, or The Forest and the Highway, or The Devil's Punch Bowl, and you get all those throwbacks in the series. And I wanted people to not have Locust Lake, but have something similar. But then when we finally, last Halloween, when Season 2 began, the Season 2 opener for Confronting Evil came out the beginning of October, and Seth went back to Locust Lake to get Mackenzie back. That was the whole reason why we killed off Mackenzie at the end of Season 1. I wanted Seth to go to Locust Lake to get her back, and that ends up opening a rift basically in space-time and allows the curse itself to seep back into the land, where like the monsters aren't back, but the curse is there. So the curse, the monsters can come back if the right set of events happens. And Seth kind of like, puts the curse back to sleep, but it's still there when he leaves. So now, when Halloween comes out, we have something tragic happen on the Alright, I think I'm back now. Sorry about the microphone. Just noticed it was out. But yeah, basically just ranting about Locust Lake and how I feel that all the Locust Lake content last year kind of detracted from the return of Locust Lake at Halloween, but that's why I tried to wrap it up before September. So with Confronting Evil and the very end of October with Halloween, you get Locust Lake returning. So that's where I was. So I do kind of see about the separation between the two. I feel like having all that Locust Lake content last summer kind of took away from its return on Halloween. But again, I feel that at least there was some space in there so that everybody still got a little bit of taste of it actually like returning, not just in outer space and hundreds of years in the future, and not just like a prequel. And again, the Chronicles of Rabob had no supernatural monsters in it. That was probably the most challenging thing to write. To write an interesting Rabob story that takes place before events that you already know is going to happen during a period of time where there are no killers available. No supernatural killers at all. Because they had already ended the curse once at the end of the first Locust Lake series, and this takes place before it comes back at the beginning of the second Locust Lake series. So that 4-part miniseries was probably, and I had not only had to do it like make it interesting, but I had to write 4 stories and make each one of them like tell something new and leave off on some kind of cliffhanger that goes into the next story that's going to do the same thing, to have some kind of huge reveal at the end that changes things a little bit. And that was hard. It was hard to kind of come up with that. There was a lot of stipulations to throw into a small package. And I think I executed it pretty well. Kind of explained a little bit where Shiloh was and what she was doing. You got to have a Shiloh cameo in that series, which was cool. That was a It went out again. So I wanted a cameo in each one of those episodes. I know. I wanted a cameo in each one of the episodes of the Chronicles of Rabob, except for the last one, where I wanted the last one to just be a some kind of reveal. So pulled into another space-time continuum. Yeah, there is a delay, but I am back. Hopefully, you didn't miss too much. But yeah, the big reveal is I wanted in the first one, you got a cameo from Shiloh. So you got Shiloh in the Confronting Evil, or in the Huck series. And then I have the second cameo for episode 2 was Huck. I wanted you to get the Chronicles of Rabob. I wanted Huck to show up in there, which I thought was like a nice little like Easter egg for Confronting Evil fans. Like, cool, oh, Huck's in this, and we all know already all about Huck and stuff like that. So that was kind of fun. And then the third cameo was the one I kept secret, and that was Amadeus Shaw, the leader of the Cult of Locusts, makes an appearance in the third one. And then the last one, what you didn't know beforehand is that this basically is what leads into the events of the return to Locust Lake, the start of the beginning of the second series, where Rabob had learned about the Cult of Locusts. Rabob had the journal. Rabob is the one that hid the journal in the library where Gunner ended up finding it, and used it to end the curse once and for all at the end of the second series. Rabob's the one that hid it in the library. I thought that was a pretty neat little detail to add. Rabob knew all about what was in the book and how to end the curse permanently if it ever returned, and he knew about a group of people that were after the book to use it to return the curse to the land. And he dies that was like the reveal at the end. Like, he goes up to the lake, he gets rid of the evidence in the lake, and then as he goes back to his house, he sees the RV full of people going up the road. And he gives a call to Shiloh because he needs to talk to her, and this is what he needed to talk to her about. He ends up dying because at the end of that Locust Lake story, where the very first Locust Lake come back for the second series, the RV people go up the road, and Ray Bob's down at his house at the end of the story, and he gets a phone call. And as he's talking on the phone, the kids show up asking for help, and then Casper shows up and kills Ray Bob. And the person that was on the phone, you find out in the next story, was Shiloh. I wrote it so that Shiloh was what she was doing, was calling him back. He was going to tell her about the journal and about these people that were after it and trying to bring the curse back. That's what he was going to tell her. But Ray Bob never got a chance. So the rest of the Locust Lake series happens. So, again, it was pretty hard to write a series with cliffhangers and stipulations, and wanted to add to the series something that you didn't really know beforehand and change things a little bit, change people's perceptions of things. It was a bit of a challenge for me to write, but I did like writing that series. So I think I'd like writing a Shiloh series. I don't know if I should rush it, though. We'll see. We'll see what I can get accomplished. I would like to write a Locust Lake story now, I think. And then if I have time, I'll write a Shiloh mini-series for the summer, if I can get it done. And I should be able to. I've got over a month to do it, so. But alright, I usually give out warnings, so I'll give out one this time too. We are over the hour mark, but I'm going to end the stream in about 3.5 minutes. I do want to thank you for tuning in and putting up with all my mic issues. Get the lo-fi going again. Need some background noise. I'm very glad that you liked the Locust Lake series, Wolf Lover. It's literally like it's really like my favorite series. It's right next to Confronting Evil. I love writing both of them. So. Icarus, Todd Jacobs. Yep, well, the Icarus stories, Commander Todd, in those stories, is Todd Jacobs. Because Todd Jacobs is the kid from the Drowned Boy in the Locust Lake series who gets arrested by the police and blamed for all the killings. And then throughout the rest of the series, you keep hearing his name dropped as the person who was executed, quote-unquote executed, for the murders of all the people at Locust Lake, and how he escaped a couple times, and there were murders, and it was because he escaped and he kept getting blamed for it, and he was executed for it. And then at the end of the series, you find out that Todd Jacobs wrote a journal that he left, and that's what Ray Bob found, and Ray Bob ended up hiding, and Gunner found it. And then at the very, very end of the series, Commander Todd shows up with the Icarus organization, and you find out that Commander Todd is Todd Jacobs. He wasn't executed, he was actually just like, Icarus faked his death, basically. They asked if he wanted to join Icarus, and obviously it was a better option than being put to death, so they faked his death, and they recruited him for a secret organization that hunts, monsters, supernatural monsters, and things that are like a Men of Letters organization. So Todd Jacobs is alive, and he is actually Commander Todd in the Icarus series, which isn't revealed until Icarus shows up at Locust Lake. Good morning, Reaper. How are you? Happy late Easter. And not a problem. It does happen. I don't really advertise these streams too well. In fact, not really at all. As it's just me talking in front of a microphone about nothing. It's literally the stream about nothing. The only topic I had prepared for today was the Crunch Noli. That Crunch Noli should not exist, and I stand by it. If that's all you've ever had, stop judging the cannoli on a Crunch Noli. It's not the same. Yes, and I will leave it up. This is actually the 96th episode of Blood and Beans. 4 more episodes will be on the 100th anniversary, the 100th episode of Blood and Beans. That's pretty cool. gotta try and think of something. I don't know. We'll think of something. Maybe. I fucking love you all. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today and sipping coffee and listening to me blabber on about nothing and toot my own horn about Locust Lake and confronting evil and all these writing projects. The new book that I'm hoping to release this coming June, and if I have a chance, I'd like to also release another Halloween book this year, an anthology. So stay tuned for that one as well. And I'll try and keep you updated, and hopefully I can make it happen. Love you all. Peace out. Happy 96th, right? Jesus Christ, can't believe it's been that long. Please be safe out there. Please have a good Sunday. Try and relax. Keep it creepy. And I will see you this Saturday for ARPA, the Digital God, by Doughboy420. So, happy Sunday. Love you all. Peace out. Be safe. Stay creepy. And TTFN. Yo.